Hi everybody, we are in Keene, New Hampshire today, and I'm with Ian Freeman of Free Talk Live. Hey Ian.
Jason, good to see you.
It's good to be here in your hometown of Keene. I love it here. We went walking downtown, and I saw like the old-timey theater is going to be showing the Planet of the Apes. So, the original one, not the Mark Wahlberg version. So, anyway, I've just fallen in love with this town, and I can see why you and a bunch of people have moved here already.
It's great. It's got, like, the amenities of a city and the small size of a town.
Yeah.
You can get big box shopping if you need that, and you can get the mom and pops, and there's only 25,000 people that live here.
Yeah, it's a college town, so it's nice. Nice folks also.
Yeah, it's a nice change from Florida. I mean,
where we're both from, yeah.
Right, mostly old people down there, and here the median age, I think, is 10 years younger.
I talked to a lot of people on the road with the Motorhome Diaries guys, and a lot of them are Free Talk Live listeners. I mean, they'll come out with like ball caps or T-shirts, you know, to identify with that crowd. And we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but it's a very, this crowd like really cares about like a voluntary society. They really like the message that you're putting out there on Free Talk Live.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
It's good to know that it resonates with more than just me, I suppose.
Well, it does. I mean, let's talk about like the audience for Free Talk Live. What kind of stations are you on? Who's listening?
Well, we're on stations that I would say are mostly kind of your traditional conservative talkers, just because that's what's out there. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of progressive stations that pick up the show, but the audience is different. I mean, depending on where, I mean, obviously there's the progressive conservative difference, but then of course you get the internet, where it's mostly, I would say most of our internet listeners that we know of at least are the hardcore liberty people. So, you know, you've got like this internet core group of people that listens to the show, and they kind of feed into the AMP program and help us expand the show to other stations where we can then kind of reach Joe average radio listener.
Very entrepreneurial about the way that you run the station, and so the bigger your show gets, the more the message of a voluntary society gets spread, and that's what I'm really into. That's why we're proud to have you as a sponsor on the Motorhome Diaries, and that's why we always want to talk about Free Talk Live. You let us on your show all the time. That's where we announce Motorhome Diaries.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I think Free Talk Live is useful for is kind of, to some extent, similar to what you guys are doing. You're doing a much more specific job of it, going around the country and focusing on liberty activism that's happening. Ours is more, Free Talk Live is more of, well, if you want to be focused on, you have to kind of call in and tell us what you're doing. But if I know of something that's happening, like what you guys are doing, then I see, well, let's focus on this, let's talk about this, let's give these guys some exposure. Because, I mean, like with Will Buchanan with the Walk for Liberty last year, I gave that as much exposure as I could, and similar to you guys, you're free to call in every week, and we'll spend a lot longer with you than we will the average caller, because you're doing something instead of just calling a talk show.
Yeah, well, we've seen the benefits of that on the road, and so we really appreciate it. But I was going to talk about like the AMP program, which is a way that you encourage people to donate $3 a month to support your program. They become amplifiers. I'm a member. And we've met a lot of them on the road, but what other ways are you like promoting your show?
Oh, okay. Well, the AMP program is kind of the primary method because it funds all of the promotion that we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if AMP were to run out of money, then it'd come out of my pocket. But we're advertising in the radio industry. We go to Talkers convention. There's a yearly convention in New York City that we just went to, which this year I was given a speaking engagement. Last year I was on a panel for the first time. This year I had a speaking engagement for the first time. So Free Talk Live's profile just continues to raise. Yeah. We made it into the Talkers Heavy 100 this year for the first time, which is kind of a big industry deal. And none of that would be possible if I didn't have 500 plus people sending in $3 a month that were helping us pay that advertising bill.
So let's talk about like the message that you're consistent on, which is that of a voluntary society. I mean, what is that? What is a voluntary society? What is voluntarism? What does it mean to you?
Well, I don't know how consistent I was in the beginning. I think when I first came into the libertarian movement and as part of the Libertarian Party, when I signed the statement that said I don't support or advocate the initiation of force, I kind of knew what that meant, but I didn't really know how it really applied. And so it's taken me from then until now, pretty much this whole decade, to really learn the ins and outs of how a voluntary society might work. And of course, the idea is to eliminate coercion. And we're never going to totally eliminate coercion, because there's likely always going to be somebody who wants to steal something or hurt somebody out there in the world. but we should be able to eliminate the institutionalization of coercion or aggression against one's neighbors. And as Harry Browne would say, all government is force. So it's just a matter of, and it's not an easy matter, it's a matter of bringing people to understand what government is and then get them to embrace something different.
Ian Freeman, thank you very much.
Jason, thank you, sir, and thank you, guys.